Okay, so I made this scrambler script. It makes a sound at the start, then it targets a random cell and clicks it. Then it counts the number of lights, and if the lights are 11 or below, it goes into this next section, which it counts the turns. And if the turns are below 100 turns, then it repeats. So it keeps clicking over and over and over until either there's more than 12 or more lights in the field, or the turn count is past 100, and I just want it to stop. Otherwise, it could loop forever. So then I made this scrambler, and it works. So now I can do. Now I can kind of reset, hit that, and then like go in Overwatch, and I can see the scrambler running in real time, but it hopefully doesn't blow up. Let's see. Run it. Scramble board. So now if I click once. Oh, it didn't stop. Let's try it again. Okay. Where are my failsafes? Edit. It keeps looping and applying the click, and then it's going to count the lights. Count the lights, okay? And then it's going to, if output of the lights is a maximum of, if it's below 12, it should only go into this section. Let's do 8. And then once it's in this section, it will count the turns from the start. And if the start turns are below 100 and it's like still good, it's going to go back 7 nodes or 7 steps. If it's below 100, it should be really 450. We can try 50 to 75. It's got to fall within that range. Otherwise, that's the only thing that kicks it back out to repeat. So I'm going to add another node at the end for feedback and have a different sound play when the whole thing is over. So I can run this from target cell at random. Applies the click, count the lights, 0. If output 0, count the turns. If output turns, it's looping like tightly. I'm gonna So let me just see if anything tells it to loop back up. This says go down 1. It's like this one's not even working. we'll try a minimum of. Only if there's not a lot of lights. Really, this should work. What is output? True and false? Let's see. So it's either just success or not success. Okay. Then it counts the turns. Looks like it's not even getting to this area down here, so apply click, count the lights. Let's just keep this one simple then, and say if the lights are this will run it more slowly. So it made it through on the first attempt. What does min even mean? It's got to be greater or equal to 10 to be true. It was false, and it just ran on through. So this means it needs to be less than equal to, and this needs to work. It's like the upper bounds of my if output doesn't work at all. And if they're both non-zero, it needs to be greater than the lower one and lower than the high one. So it needs to be greater than 9, and it needs to be less than 25. Let's do 24, that's fine. is that value not hitting the range properly? If output was 23, target cell. So what's the count? 5. Do I need to clear the output? It's hard to make looping things because they can get out of hand so quickly.
Oh!
Apply click. So let's just make a new one. This is going to be just random click. I should be numbering these, shouldn't I? Oh well. Oh well. And if this is target cell at random, apply click. That's it. Then I can make another one. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 7. I can make an 8. And this just says run, click X times. Running. Solved. I don't know, method switch. Total cycles, we want to run it 10 times. Should be number 7. The heck was that? So if this one is number 7, this one's called if puzzle. So this is 7. This is 8. This is 9. I need to run 9. 9. And then I need to edit this one to say run number 9. Let's see if it works. Yep, we just did it once. Well, that feature was never made. Let me try to punch out something. Oh, the punch might not even work. Punch in a pattern. Find a custom pattern. Get heat map. If up implement feedback, if bubble salt, manipulate output. Count the click keeper. Forward turns, heat map, score density, set an anchor, rewind the anchor, find hidden patterns, apply multiple kicks just utterly broke. Well, we can do it the rudimentary way, where we just target cell, random apply, target cell, random apply. That works. So now we have a random scrambler. We want to scramble when there's like less than 5 lights on the board, I think. Which one can I just attach it to? If there's more than 12 lights on the board, we add method switch. So it's gonna make a bunch of noise. It's gonna switch to 9. So now if I play Overwatch, and I do a sound off, if there's ever more than enough lights, it's just gonna F me out. Should be 10. Overwatch, sound off, run it. So you could practice elegant solves by forcing this condition on yourself to keep the number of lights low. And just scrambling it up. the one with punching pattern? Well, I'm losing track of everything. It's just supposed to go to number 9 here, right? Random clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Time travel isn't 7, that's 5. So 5. Let's make it back to 7. So it jumped me to the rewind. So this is 7. Rewind 1 is 7. It is 7, so 8, 9. We'll make it 9. Person, that's okay. Kind of want to start from scratch without all these thingies here. How can I do that? Let's just delete them. Cool, fresh slate. So this will be the last example I'll show. So this one's just going to, this one's going to be called pull lights down. Drop all lights to the bottom row. So save it. The win condition for this one is going to be, all it needs to do to determine if it's successful is actually what it's going to do is puzzle solve. So, okay, save it. So the first thing it's going to do is going to evaluate the board from top to bottom and try to find if there's a light on, well, it's going to evaluate, so do I type in eval? Find the densest row, scan for known pattern, count the lights, scan for hidden powers, evaluate from top to bottom. So we're going to evaluate from top to bottom like this. It's going to evaluate the light heat map, not the click heat map, so like what the lights are actually in the field. And it's going to weigh the top ones. This scan is going to be weighted more heavily than the others. So I'm going to add a weighted value of 10. Let's hope that works. And to show you what this looks like, I'll save it. So with Overwatch system, it doesn't even show it. With the method maker, every time 10 is way too high of a weight. Let's just put it at 2. Run it. We just need 1 cycle, but so it's evaluating the heat map, but I'm not putting any info into the heat map. So I need to edit. Delete this. Add node. Type in heat. Target score density for heat map. Yeah, so your heat maps are like ways of looking at the board and trying to assign value to what's there. So you have to like score it before you can evaluate what your scores are. So it's just a general rule of thumb, you reset first. And this says reset which one, the click bag, the click limiter, light limiter, heat map, all of it, whatever. We're just gonna get a clean restart. Then you add a node and you say score, that's the density for heat map, score heat map for hidden whatever, score heat map from current turn. So cool, like current turn's gonna have some stuff in there, and we want to score the light heat map, not the click. So we're looking at the lights. We can target blanks or lights, Boolean, so I don't know why blanks are, but we'll target the lights and we'll weight this score. Well, it doesn't need an extra weighting, so we'll just leave it like that. So we save. And what this looks like in practice is when I hit run, oops. It's doing that weird thing where if I delete a thing, it still shows back up. So let's just delete this whole thing. Pull lights down. Save, add node. Don't try to solve. Add node, score heat map from current turn, light heat map, target blanks or lights, we want lights. Save, and what this looks like is, you can see it too, like darkening here. The more times you run it, you can see that it's actually putting values in for exactly where the lights are. And more values means it's hotter and hotter or brighter. So we're essentially we're in a very simple way scoring what's happening. And our eyes do this naturally. So like if we want to look for dense areas, we already know that this is a dense area because it's surrounded, and this is a dense area. But I made these scripts to kind of do what we do very simply. So I'm going to weight this 2. And then once you have some weighted values in there, you can evaluate it. Evaluate from top to bottom. Or score density, more like top. So a score heat map according to the rules gives more control over differentiated cells and values. So we're going to do the light heat map. I'm going to get this weight. So we're going to weight the topmost ones more than the bottom ones. That's why it's top to bottom. So we're going to give that a weight of 1. And what this looks like, every time you run it, he ran it too many times. It's so annoying. But it first, I think, it first does a sweep and copies the lights down for that score. and then it does another sweep and it prioritizes the ones at the top to be the hottest or whatever. So now that we can basically identify which in the field, which light is the topmost, that's all we needed. So we go back to this and say, now we can add another target. The coldest cell from the heat map or the hottest cell? The hottest one, because we just did all that sweeping. Click heat map, light heat map. Anything greater or equal to X, we don't need that. Anything within the hottest percentage. So you can like have a range of hotness, like, you know, if a bunch of lights score close to each other, you can be like, cool, just grab any of them. Or you can be like, no, I want the hottest one. So you can X that, and it's going to target it. And all the target does is that. So what we want to do after we target the hottest one, we add a node and we say target. We want to adjust the target relative, right? So once we target the topmost cell, we want to change the targeted cell to a specified number of adjacent cells. So if we want to go vertical down one, we add one here to this column. And that's going to shift the target once. And now we're going to add a click. Apply click. You save this. So what this should do every turn is evaluate the topmost one down the page and put the target on it and then click below it. Oh, my mistake. So you can see what's happening, what's wrong. The density that it scores and evaluates the board is right here on the right side, and every time it runs, if it doesn't clear that out, it's basically stacking info on top of info on top of info, and then it just like it turns into a mess. It's not like re-looking at the board every time. So we just need to add edit. We just need to add reset, bag and limiter heat maps. And since we're only doing with the last one, let's just only do the light heat map. Make it nice and clean. Save. So now when this is run, it should evaluate properly and find the hottest one. How do you... Oh, so this is a fun problem, which is why it was so annoying trying to create this. It's evaluating the hottest one, right? But if I do a sweep and add priority to the topmost layer, what's another way of saying this? I edit this. So it's just assigning a value to every cell as it does a sweep. But if I make sure that the top to bottom sweep is too hot, it's just going to think that those cells are the ones to target. We need to make sure that when we evaluate from the current turn, that this weighting is significant to outdo the weighting that we'll add with the sweep. So we always want to target the lights. Then when we value from top to bottom, this weighting is not so important. We'll leave it at 1 and see if this works. So I'll just add some lights, run it, some cycles, and hit it. So now you can like see it thinking. Like you can see where the lights get really bright, and you can see it actually picking the correct ones. Oh, and it needs to stop when there's no more lights on the board. Well, we'll worry about that later. So I can stop this, reset, randomize, and then I can run it again and look at it solve. You can see it thinking like, oh, there's the brightest ones. I'll go find the brightest one and I'll go one lower. Oh, where's the brightest ones? I think it's that one. I'm going to go one lower. And you can see it just pulling all the lights down the screen. Yep. 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 And now blah blah blah. So that's cool. That's our first significant step here. When there's no more lights on the whole top part of the screen, like here, this is the solution we want. So we need to add another condition that says, hey, stop. method shaker, edit. So every time it's gonna, well, okay, so we'll do this. No. Edit. We need to add something that says, look at the field. If there's any lights above this bottom row, frick, run it again, right? That's what we need to do. So we need to add a node and check lights, check the cell state, but we don't just want any cell. We actually want to check this, all these cells, right? We want to check that they are all unlit. When it's multiple cells that it's checking all or nothing. So if we say unlit and 0 here, and we specify this all the way down, it won't ever be true unless only the lights are on the bottom row. So like, that's cool. This is what we want. And this already has like an if condition built into it. I think that's what's screwing me up. Some of my nodes have if conditionals built into it, and I keep using if output, but if it has it here, that's fine. I can just do right here. So if this is true, I'm gonna say if there are any lights, no. If these are all blank, this is good, and we can proceed to exit. So this is, we're gonna put a -1 here. So it's gonna proceed to the next node. And we're gonna make sure the next node says switch method. So we're gonna add a node. I'm gonna say method switch. We're gonna switch to number 2, which is what we'll make after this. Hopefully that number is correct. We're gonna reset the bags. Yes. But there. We're gonna make sure that that is indented, so it only happens when the condition is true. And then right after this one, we're gonna jump to the whole start of the thing again, because you need to keep running this as many times as possible until you get it right. And there's like multiple ways to do that, but I want to just do check cell. Probably could have done this much better, and just say like if any of these are, I don't know why my mouse is freaking out and not doing it. I don't even know why these X's are here actually. Oh no. Here's where I had to make the secondary limiters. You click this, I keep messing it up. Edit. So now you have to add a node that says limit. You can limit what it looks like. Looks at. So modify the light limiter, modify the click limiter, modify the limiter from current turn, apply all clicks from bag, limit lights to current turn, reset bags limiters, modify light limiters. Count bag. Count bag limiters or heat map. So we modify the light limiter. Modify the light limiter to prevent other nodes from considering specific cells. Unlit cells will not be factored into calculations. So I can't tell if I need to click all the ones on top or only the ones on bottom. But we say like, look in this area right here after we limit you to look here. Cool. And then we say if count the lights, and now we count the lights in this area, and it needs to be 0. That's how we do it. Count the lights, a number of lights in the grid, equals 0. Let me count limiter. Count bag limiter or heat map. I should have used that one. And then we're gonna do the light limiter, and this already has an if condition, so we don't really need that right now. But the count is basically 0, which we need to do in an if output. The min 0 and the max is I feel like this needs to be -1. And this needs to be 1. That's not gonna work. Then oh, if it's greater than 1. It counts it. If there's any count there, I need to jump back. That's what it's supposed to be. If output is bigger at all than equal to or bigger at all than 1, then we're gonna jump back like 9 nodes and just do it again. Yeah, I can't believe I even did this in the first place. Well, let's see what happens. It almost, I don't know if that just cycled out or if it, yeah, I think it's successful. It pulled all of them down. It kept repeating until there was nothing left on any of this above area. So this is kind of limiting which lights it's even going to consider. And then it's like, cool, keep clicking down until there's nothing in this huge red block. And it's true, so it's not making any clicks right now. And then once it gets to this point, I think I just need to evaluate count the lights, count the bag limiter, if output jumps back. So this is not true, it should keep going. Why is this a 9? And it should only play that final sound effect if it fails to do this if output. Yeah. Yeah, when I actually did it the right way, that was really neat. I mean, you can see it working, so that's good enough. But it evaluated the things. It limited which lights it looked for. It was like, did they all get to the bottom? If so, switch methods. And then the next method evaluated if a light is here, apply a click here. If a light is here, apply a click here. If a light is here, apply a click here. And then it referred back to the original method script and said, hey, pull all the lights down again. And then when it did that, it would solve itself. And since there's a global condition of if puzzle is solved, it would just stop whenever it got the solution. But yeah, there's so many things that humans do naturally that's kind of hard to put into a computer. That's where there's a large intuition gap that people can't kind of jump over. So by making these intermediary nodes and trying to make those nodes how people think about and talk about things in general, it was supposed to be an interesting gap, a bridge gapper or a gap bridger. So when you ask somebody, what's their strategy? Like, I don't know, click on the centers of things. Okay, like, do I have a node that says, score density by density, right? Or score by centers or whatever. And perhaps that would help that person kind of articulate their method and then eventually look at other options and eventually see how their method is limited because they can run it really fast over a lot of puzzles. But that was the most extreme and most intense thing I've ever programmed. And it's just getting a computer to see, like computer vision and AI is a big deal. And most video games are based on vision. So like, I don't know how you're going to get around this problem of when we look at the board, we see a pattern and we see limitations around the edges and we see corners and stuff, but a computer just doesn't see that. So you really have to, it's almost as if, the rubber ducky method or explaining it to a 3-year-old or programming an AI to do it. You really get a really strong sense of, oh, my instructions are usually too many assumptions and too many leaps. You got to spell it out, piece by piece. As far as the fun game experience goes, it's not fun to spell things out piece by piece, so I kind of wanted to meet the player, in the middle, but at least it works. And at least the concept of like customizing your own feedback and tailoring the entire sort of game experience from the sound effects to the music that plays, the UI and the visual effects to be conducive to your own learning journey is, I think, really interesting. A lot of this stuff that we moved towards in the future with UI and other designs were all about no more one size fits all thinking, but how everything can be dynamic, because why not?